What's going on, everybody? My name is Noah, and this is another video for Paramount Performance. Now, if you're new to the fitness community and you're not really familiar with what sort of diets you may be looking at, that's what we're talking about today. And generally, just in common, even when experienced people or other trainers, competitors get wrong about the difference between if it fits your macros and flexible dieting versus something like strict dieting or traditional bodybuilding diets. Now, the information I'm going to be citing in this video is going to be from the Department of Nutrition and the University of Applied Science, so collaborative efforts here. This study looked at 55,000 people, so significant size study, and basically what it looked at is one group of people were given a very strict diet, a very rigid diet to follow, and the other group of people had to go based on a flexible diet. Now, I say flexible diet here, and I'm not saying if it fits your macros because there is a difference. So let's get into the research a little bit here. So overall, what the study found is that people that participate or have an open mindset in dieting or do the flexible dieting, they generally have a higher success rate in their goals or the results that they want to do. What they found is that not only do they have the weight loss that they want, but they're able to maintain those results for much longer periods of time. And here's the big two things here with the flexible dieting group is that they said there was no psychological damage or harm. Now, you may be wondering what something like that entails, and I'll get into that in a minute. But the other big part of this is that it said generally the people on flexible dieting were liked better. And you may be like, what do you mean they were liked better? But again, I will get into that a little bit further. But yes, them as people, by their community, by their peers, were seen to be much more likable people, easier to get along with. Now, if we look at the people on the rigid or strict dieting or people that run a traditional bodybuilding type diet, what they found is that they're much more likely to develop eating disorders. They're much more likely to suffer from things like body dysmorphia, going back to self-imaging, mental stress. These people were generally seen to be meaner, generally just upset easier or more likely to lash out at someone for something. And ultimately, that the people that do strict dieting on a whole are much less likely to see themselves in a positive manner. Again, falling back to the mental stress and disorders of body dysmorphia, that even though they may have gotten results, that what they saw in themselves, regardless of whether it was true or not, they did not approve, or they did not generally like the way their bodies looked, and that they became dissatisfied with themselves as people. Now, if we go into what I talked about previously, how there actually is a difference between flexible dieting and macro-based dieting, or if it fits your macros. And a lot of times you'll hear these things mentioned in the same breath, and they are very similar, but there are big differences between the two. And the reason why I say that is it's about how you look at it, right? People that do flexible dieting, they don't have any number system to go by. It's not about getting X amount of calories in a day. It's not about getting protein or whatever it is. It's people that generally become more knowledgeable about what they're eating versus, it doesn't matter what I eat as long as I stay within these numbers. This is the progress I'm going to get. So the other thing that the study looked at, and what people that generally don't often realize is that If It Fits Your Macros is actually pretty similar in its mental capacity, or the mental effect that it takes on someone, to having a rigid diet. So you may not be on a rigid diet per se, saying just meat and potatoes, or chicken and rice, or whatever it is, but the issue that a lot of people run into with If It Fits Your Macros is that ones that have a certain exact number to hit and they miss that number, those people that practice If It Fits Your Macros are much more likely to be like, oh, fuck it, I missed it by 5 grams today, might as well go eat a large pizza, and things of that nature. So they're much more likely to fall off the bandwagon. Now, when it comes to bodybuilders, what they've seen long term is that they don't have nearly as much success, or people that do rigid dieting, as people that practice flexible dieting. And notice I said flexible dieting here, not If It Fits Your Macros, because again, we can look at it as either you're on or you're off. You either hit your numbers or you don't, right? So people that do the on and off season, or bulking and cutting, what we generally see is that they lack the ability to maintain proper weight throughout durations of time. So because they're like, oh, you know what, I've shown such great discipline for this long, now that I'm off, I'm bulking, I can eat whenever I want. And more often than not, you hear it all the time. People are like, oh, I dirty bulked, I put on too much weight, now I'm fucked. Well, yeah, that's because you put yourself in a situation to fail. You set yourself up for failure for depriving yourself for so long that when you're off, you actually start to indulge and you go overboard, and you're creating an eating disorder here. Now, my biggest advice for people that are going to practice If It Fits Your Macros is to take heed, or learn what you can from flexible dieting. Again, there's a difference between the two, and know that just because you haven't or say you go over by 5 grams, instead of giving yourself an exact number to hit, give yourself a window, right? So you say, oh, you know what, I went over by 10 grams today, that's okay. Or, I'm under by 10 grams today, that's okay. And, when you go out, that you can still be involved in, in your community, or you can still go out and go to a restaurant, because when you become more knowledgeable about what you're actually eating, you can actually go out to the restaurant with your friends and be like, you know what, instead of getting the lasagna, let me just get chicken and mixed veggies, and maybe a little something on the side, and practice portion control and things like healthy substitutions. It's those sort of things that are going to make you much more successful, instead of being like, nope, I can't go to this, I can't do it, I'm just going to sit home by myself and be bored and be miserable because everybody else is out having fun during the summer, and I can't because I have to be on my diet, right? You have to learn to be a little more flexible and not so rigid in your dieting, because you can still have success doing it that way. Alright guys, so let me know, did you enjoy this video? If so, hit it with a thumbs up, and go ahead and let me know in the comment section what your experiences have been with hardcore dieting and flexible dieting, and if it fits your macros. And guys, go on over to ParamountPerformFit.com or JBirdApparel.com and go ahead and pick yourself up one of these nice new Paramount Performance gym bags. You can purchase them individually or as a set, 4-item set, for $85. Now what that set actually gets you is a bag, a shirt, a shaker, and one of these cool little rings that I'm wearing right here. So if you wear rings, generally speaking, if something were to land on your hand, that ring would crush you. With this sort of ring, you don't have to worry about your finger being ripped off or crushed, because this is a nice little flexible ring. So should anything happen, your finger will not get crushed by it. So guys, again, thank you so much. Let me know what your thoughts are on the video, and as always, please remember to like, favorite, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.